When it comes to highly influential first-person shooters, it's hard to ignore the significance of the Call of Duty franchise. Dating back to the 2003 release of the original Call of Duty, this is a series that has consistently maintained relevance even with some of the shittier releases. And compared to the tragic downfall of Medal of Honor, Call of Duty has been able to rebound from its lowest points to continue to stay competitive with many successful titles that have reshaped and redefined the first-person shooter genre since being brought to the public. Love it or hate it, Call of Duty is still one of the most recognizable franchises, to the point where even people who have never picked up a video game in their life have at least heard of it. And even though Call of Duty isn't as dominant as it once was in the marketplace due to changing trends, the series continues to ship millions of copies to people across the globe. At this point, it's safe to say that Call of Duty isn't going anywhere anytime soon, thanks to the blunders from their main competitor, as well as continued support and brand loyalty from longtime fans of the series. While multiplayer is usually the main reason why people get into Call of Duty games in the first place, the series has also had many titles with notably strong solo campaigns packed inside. Among the franchise's best single-player experience include the likes of Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, World at War, Black Ops, and my own personal favorite, Modern Warfare 2. With the unsurprising news of the Modern Warfare 2 reboot, the time felt right to go back and play through the campaign of the original game again. This was probably one of the best decisions that I've made in a while, because it made me remember how fucking good the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 campaign actually is and continues to be. Unfortunately, it also left me feeling a bit of concern. Reboots are a commonplace these days. Not all of them are shit, but a lot of them have failed to meet the standards of their predecessors. While summarizing my own thoughts for this video, I felt a bit skeptical. With how high I personally regard Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, it's reasonable to question if the reboot will be able to live up to the exceptional standards of the original MW2 campaign. The bottom line is that Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 has aged like a fine-ass wine, getting better and better as games get shittier and shittier. When Modern Warfare 2 had first released, it exceeded expectations, having elevated the franchise to even greater heights than ever before. And even with multiple releases that came and went after, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2's campaign is still one of the pinnacles for Infinity Ward. The phenomenal masterpiece is easily one of the main reasons why the series took off and solidified its place as a first-person shooter juggernaut in the mainstream audience. Even to this day, there's still something about Modern Warfare 2 that feels refined. And while the campaign certainly has flaws that are far more apparent these days, with bullshit that's easier to spot when compared to the more modern FPSs, there's still something perfect about the overall experience thanks to the game's interesting story and nearly flawless gameplay. The game itself had contained some of the most liked characters the franchise had ever created, to the point of their popularity extending beyond the game's normal fan base, with some of them even receiving spin-offs in the forms of other media. Modern Warfare 2's campaign had also spawned the legendary meme of Ramirez Do Everything, which came about due to players taking notice of the playable Ranger James Ramirez being yelled at to perform tasks by in-game character Sergeant Foley, who had been voiced by Keith David, an actor that had been most recognizable at the time from his voicing of the Arbiter from Halo 2 and 3 and his voiceovers of early 2000s Navy commercials. Where I feel Modern Warfare 2's campaign is at its best is with levels like Wolverine's, Second Son, and Whiskey Hotel. These levels are extremely powerful in terms of their atmospheres and contain some of the best moments of the franchise, as well as show off just how theatrical a video game could actually be while still maintaining gameplay that has the capacity to keep the player engaged the whole time. Too often have video games tried to take the cinematic approach and force-feed shit cutscenes into the player's throat while gradually introducing bits of non-scripted sections where they're expected to stay interested with some of the fucking dumbest shit imaginable. And don't get me wrong, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 has its own share of scripted ass shit, but it isn't anywhere near as being intolerable as other games. In fact, when you compare it to the more recent Call of Duty games, they're not all that bad. That being said, Modern Warfare 2 is indeed guilty of seeming like more of a cinematic spectacle than a military simulator. Similar to the theatrics that you'd see from the film industry, Modern Warfare 2 contains some of the most epic fucking shit ever stuffed into a single-player campaign. This is thanks to missions inspired by cinema combined with strongly designed levels that are further enhanced with backing music that makes every section feel tense and exciting, thanks to the superb soundtrack created by Lon Belf and the more famous composer Hans Zimmer. Summing it all up, Modern Warfare 2 is a recipe for perfection. And while it isn't the most realistic thing on the planet, it, it at least does a good job succeeding at making the player feel like a bad motherfucker at every turn. When it comes down to it all, Modern Warfare 2 is a special game. Whether or not the reboot lives up to the high standard that the original set remains to be seen. And even though Infinity Ward isn't exactly the same company that they used to be, with many key departures over the years that have left the studio a shell of its former self, they've shown that they're still able to produce high-quality video games with the more recent Modern Warfare reboot. Regardless of the outcome, the original Modern Warfare 2 is a special game and a piece of history in a series filled with ups and downs.